want you to picture something. You walk into a room, it's crowded, a party, a boardroom, whatever, and the noise is it's a lot. Everyone's posturing, laughing too loud, trying so hard to be liked. And then there's you. You're not smiling. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're just standing in the corner, shrouded in shadow, silent. And the terrifying part, everyone is looking at you, not with pity, with fear and with respect.
You are painting a very specific picture there. That is the ultimate power fantasy of the introvert, isn't it?
It really is. It's the whole allure of the tragic anti-hero.
Exactly.
We all grew up wanting to be the hero, right?
Yeah.
The guy in the bright cape who saves the day. But let's be honest, being the hero is exhausting. You have to be nice. You have to explain yourself. And sometimes you don't want to be the hero. You want to be the most mysterious person in the room. The one everyone fears but secretly, wants to be.
And today, we're going to explore exactly how to do that. But I have to give a warning right up front. This is not a self-help guide on how to be happy. This is a masterclass in how to be compelling, dangerous, and miserable.
We are diving deep into a breakdown from the YouTube channel Calm Ibrahim. The video is called The Anatomy of a Tragic Anti-Hero, but it's the subtitle that's the real hook. It's just how to be Severus Snape.
Which is the perfect archetype for this. I mean, whether you know the character or not, the type is universal. It's the Byronic hero, deeply damaged, incredibly competent, and dangerously loyal. And this source, it breaks it all down into 10 specific steps.
And these aren't vague tips like wear more black. This is a step-by-step manual on emotional repression as a lifestyle. And honestly, reading this list, half of me was like, this is a psychological nightmare, and the other half was thinking, my God, this sounds cool.
That is the seduction of it all. The source material presents his whole lifestyle not as a failure to cope, but as a kind of superior form of existence. It promises that if you follow these steps, you become untouchable. It literally frames trauma as armor.
So if you're ready to trade your happiness for mystery, let's do this. Let's unpack the anatomy of a tragic anti-hero. Where do you even start with a transformation like this?
Well, it doesn't start with the clothes or the attitude, it starts with the heart. Specifically, it starts by breaking it and then just refusing to let it heal.
Step 1 in the guide is titled, Fall in Love Once. Make it your entire personality.
Just listen to that phrasing. Make it your entire personality. The guide is explicitly telling you that balance is the enemy. You don't just have a crush, you build an altar.
It says you have to choose one person and center your whole identity around them. But the phrase that really hit me, the one that feels like a punch in the gut, is this. Let rejection turn into lifelong emotional fossilization.
Emotional fossilization. I mean, that is a brutal image. Think about what a fossil is. It's something that was once alive, soft, moving, but over time, under immense pressure, it turns to stone. It freezes.
So you never move past the rejection. You just freeze right there.
Exactly. The guide is arguing that to be this archetype, to be Snape, you can't grow. The source material even has a mantra for this step. Growth is optional. Obsession is forever.
Obsession is forever. Wow, that sounds like a line from a gothic horror novel.
It basically is. In the real world, we call moving on healing. We call it processing grief. But in the world of the tragic anti-hero, moving on is a betrayal. If you heal, you're admitting the person you lost wasn't that important, so you hold on to the pain. You fossilize it. The pain is the only thing you have left.
So you're keeping the wound fresh. On purpose. It's a twisted kind of loyalty.
It is loyalty, and if you look at how this list is structured, it's actually circular. This obsession isn't just the beginning, it's also the end. Step 1 kicks it off, and step 10 completely seals it.
Right, let's jump to the end for a second because that connects so perfectly. Step 10 is, love so deeply you're willing to die quietly for it.
Die quietly. Those 2 words are everything.
The guide really emphasizes sacrifice without applause.
Yeah.
It says you have to be willing to be hated. You have to let people think you're the villain, while you secretly know you're the only one saving them.
And that's loyalty beyond reason. If you die saving someone and the world throws you a parade, you're just a hero. You're Superman. But to be the tragic anti-hero, the world has to despise you while you save it?
It's the ultimate martyr complex, isn't it? I'm suffering for you, you hate me for it, and I'll never ever tell you the truth. It's so dramatic.
But can you imagine the loneliness of that? You are completely isolated. So if you're gonna live that way, you need some way to survive. You need protection.
You need armor, which is where the guide pivots to skills. This is the part that makes people want to be this character. Step 2, master a skill so hard it becomes armor.
I love this concept. It's not about hobbies. You're not learning chemistry because it brings you joy.
No, the source is really specific. Not to inspire, not to teach, but to compensate.
Competence as emotional defense. That's such a profound psychological insight. The idea is, if I'm undeniable in my skill, if I'm the best coder, the best surgeon, then people have to tolerate me.
It's like saying, I don't need you to like me. I just need to be so useful you can't get rid of me.
Exactly. Brilliance as a shield for unresolved pain. It shifts the whole power dynamic. If you're the best in the room, you're safe. You can be grumpy, silent, rude, and people will still come to you because they need what you can do.
But the armor isn't just being good at something. It's also how you use your mind against other people. Which brings us to step 4, weaponize intelligence.
And this is where the archetype turns aggressive. This is where you stop being just quiet and start being scary.
The guide says, don't just be smart, be intimidatingly smart. It actually tells you to correct people in public, to use sarcasm as artillery.
Artillery? I mean, think about that word choice. It frames every conversation as warfare. You're not trying to connect with someone, you are shelling their position. The goal here is to make rooms uncomfortable on purpose.
I think we've all met someone like this. You're in a meeting and you're scared to open your mouth because you know they're just waiting to tear your idea apart.
Yeah.
And they seem to enjoy the silence that follows.
Well, according to the Calm Ibrahim source, that silence is the entire point. The core belief is respect through fear, warmth is weakness.
That is a stark equation. Warmth equals weakness.
It makes sense, though, if you're traumatized from step 1. If you're warm, you invite connection. If you invite connection, you can be rejected again. But if you're scary, you're safe. No one hugs a cactus.
But to keep that cactus thing going, you have to be a total mystery. No one can see the soft parts. Which is step 8, make mystery your brand.
This is the PR strategy of the anti-hero.
The rule is simple. Never explain yourself. Never clarify your motives. If someone misunderstands you, good, let them.
Let people misjudge you. That takes an incredible amount of self-control. Most of us, when we're misunderstood, we panic. We say, no, wait, I didn't mean it like that. We want to be seen clearly.
But this archetype wants to be seen through a fog. The guide says, be misunderstood on purpose. It's dramatic, it's lonely, it's very on brand.
And it's the cultivation of an image where you are a puzzle no one can solve. The tragic irony is the anti-hero is usually desperate for someone to solve them, but they actively make it impossible. You know, you lock the door, swallow the key, and then wonder why nobody's visiting.
Okay, so we have the obsession, the armor, the sarcasm, the mystery, but you still have to exist in the world. And this is where the lifestyle gets messy. The social cost is steep.
It requires burning bridges. But not just burning them, it's like keeping the ashes in a jar on your mantelpiece.
Which is step 3. Hold grudges like family heirlooms.
I absolutely love that imagery, even though it's so incredibly toxic. An heirloom is precious. You polish it, you display it, you pass it down. This step suggests you treat your resentments like your most valuable possessions.
It actually says, forgiveness is for emotionally regulated people.
Which is just a hilarious way of admitting I am not emotionally regulated and I refuse to be.
And the instruction is specific. If someone wrongs you at 11, carry it to 31.
20 years. Imagine the energy that takes. Carrying a grudge for 20 years has to ruin your soul.
And you don't just carry it, you use it. The source introduces this concept of micro-revenge. It says, let every interaction with them drip with it.
Micro-revenge. That sounds so exhausting. You're constantly calculating these small, petty ways to make the other person miserable. It's petty, but in this world, it's framed as loyalty to your own pain.
But sometimes, being a loner with a grudge isn't enough. You need a crew. But since you're misunderstood and scary, the good guys don't want you. So you get step 5. Join the wrong side for validation.
This is the danger zone. This is where the tragedy stops being an aesthetic choice and starts getting really risky.
The guide literally asks, feel overlooked, find the group that tells you you're special, even if they're toxic, even if they're objectively the villains.
And the trade-off is laid out right there in the source. Belonging is greater than morality.
That is a chilling thought. Belonging over morality.
It speaks to a deep human desperation, though. If the good guys have rejected you, you're going to gravitate towards the group that accepts you, even if that group is doing terrible things. The source is highlighting that radicalization often just starts with being lonely.
Even if it brands you forever. The source knows this is a one-way ticket. You get the validation, but you might lose your soul.
And that loss of soul leads directly into the internal prison this character builds for themselves. You've joined the wrong side, you've made mistakes, and now you have to live with it.
This brings us to step 6. Betray your own values, then spend the rest of your life compensating.
This is the engine of the anti-hero's entire plot, the catastrophic mistake, the original sin.
You make one awful decision, and then you build your entire adult life around fixing it. The guide says, redemption arc, yes. Peace, never.
And then it drops this incredible metaphor: guilt is your daily protein shake.
I laughed out loud at that, but it's so grim. Guilt is your daily protein shake. It means guilt is what fuels you. It's what gets you out of bed. You're not living for joy. You're living to pay off a debt that can never really be settled.
And think about the cost of that. If guilt is your fuel, you can never, ever relax. If you relax, the guilt catches up. So you have to keep working, keep brooding, keep sacrificing. You're just running on a treadmill of shame.
And because you're fueled by guilt, you can't have normal relationships. You definitely can't tell people you love them. That's step 7. Express love indirectly and confusingly.
This is the emotional vulnerability is banned rule. You protect people, you sacrifice for them, but you never communicate clearly.
The visual here is so striking. Let your actions scream while your face says nothing. It's like total dissociation. You're doing the most loving things, but you refuse to let anyone see it on your face.
Because if they saw it, they might pity you. Or worse, love you back. And that ruins the whole lonely sufferer aesthetic. If you're loved back, you're not a tragic martyr anymore. You're just in a relationship. And that's messy and mundane. The anti-hero wants the tragedy, not the Tuesday night dinner.
Which brings us to step 9, the lifestyle choice that cements it all. Choose isolation over healing.
This is the ultimate rejection of any modern solution. The guide says, instead of therapy, choose silence. Instead of processing trauma, choose brooding.
Live in the dungeon, literally and metaphorically.
That distinction is key. You might not have a literal dungeon, but you can build one in your head. You can choose to stay in the dark.
Dark aesthetic over emotional maturity. That really is the summary of the whole list, isn't it?
It is. It's a conscious choice. To say, I could get better, I could talk to someone, I could let this go, but I prefer the shadows because the shadows make me feel significant.
So let's look at the full picture now. We built the perfect, tragic anti-hero. Obsessed, competent, sarcastic, grudge-holding, isolated, guilt-ridden, and mysterious. We look cool, we have a redemption arc.
And we are absolutely 100% miserable.
And that is the pivot. That's the moment where the calm Ibrahim source takes us on this whole dramatic journey, gets us hyped on the darkness, and then right at the end, just yanks the emergency brake.
Yes, the reality check. The source completely breaks character.
The video ends with this setup. It says, if you've watched till here, congratulations. You now know exactly how to become emotionally repressed, morally complicated, and dangerously loyal.
And then it hits you with the alternative.
Or you could just go to therapy.
And that's the splash of cold water. That is the lights turning on in the club at 3 a.m.
The source's commentary shifts completely. It just says, hold on, this lifestyle looks cool and all, but it's really a bad lifestyle.
It points at the obvious thing that movies always gloss over. Suffering in the name of looking cool and mysterious is not healthy at all.
It's a performance. We perform tragedy because we think it gives us depth. But Calm Ibrahim makes the mission clear. We want everyone to be happy and enjoy their life.
It presents this binary choice that I think is really powerful for you to consider right now. You can have the aesthetic or you can have the happiness. You can't have both. The anti-hero is compelling on a screen because their life is a tragedy. But do you actually want to live a tragedy?
Right. Do you want to live in a dungeon, nursing a grudge from when you were 11, fueled by guilt for 40 years? That's not a movie. That's a nightmare.
It's funny because when you list it all out, like this, all 10 steps, it just sounds exhausting. Like imagine living step 3, holding that grudge for 20 years, the energy that takes.
It's a full-time job. Micro-revenge requires constant vigilance. Guilt is a protein shake. It means you're constantly digesting your own failures. The coolness comes from enduring that weight. But the source is asking, why would you want to?
Why carry the weight if you don't have to? That's the critical question. This whole anti-hero persona is armor. It's a defense mechanism gone wrong. We build these walls, confidence, sarcasm, mystery, because we're afraid of being hurt again. But the walls that keep pain out also keep life out.
So the dungeon is safe, but it's still a dungeon. And you're both the jailer and the prisoner.
Precisely. And the Calm Ibrahim perspective is essentially unlocking the door and saying, you know, you can just walk out, the sun is shining, you don't have to be Snape, you can just be happy.
But being happy is scary in its own way, isn't it?
Yeah.
It requires vulnerability, it requires warmth, which, as we learned in step 4, is considered weakness to the anti-hero.
That's the great irony. To be open, to forgive, to move on, that takes so much more courage than brooding in a basement. It's easy to be cold, it's easy to be sarcastic, it's hard to be open, it's hard to be ordinary.
So what does this all mean for us? For you listening right now, we aren't wizards, we're not fighting dark lords, but we might be doing some of this stuff.
It means you have to kind of audit your own coolness. You have to ask yourself, are you holding on to a grudge because it makes you feel righteous? Are you using sarcasm to keep people away? Are you fossilizing your emotions because you think it makes you seem deep?
Are you treating your life like a movie where you have to be the tragic lead? Because if you are, you're missing the actual show.
The credits don't roll on your life until the very end, and spending the whole runtime in the dark is just a waste of a good story.
So the source material offers this seductive trap. Armor, mystery, a dramatic narrative. It tells you that if you suffer enough, you matter.
But the price is your own peace, and that price is just too high.
So here's the final provocation to leave you with, straight from this breakdown. It all comes down to that choice between the dungeon and the daylight.
Are you building a life of dungeons and micro-revenge just to feel special? Or are you brave enough to be ordinary and happy?
Sometimes the hardest thing to be isn't a tragic hero, it's just a happy person.
And honestly, that's a much better plot twist.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.